Welcome to CBS Sports coverage of Super Bowl 44. Jim Nantz along with Bill Sims.
If they win today, they have really taken everything.
They've waited maybe all their lives to be in this Super Bowl.
Everything that they hoped the Super Bowl would be, their experience this week, it lived up to.
CBS Corporation, Leslie Winkus.
And welcome everyone. As you can tell, we're making a pretty big deal out of the Super Bowl. Not that it's that unusual for companies to do that, but somehow the Super Bowl, New Orleans, and CBS, it all seems to come together in a pretty magnificent way. As I said, as you can tell, it's all pretty exciting for all of us at CBS. And not only is it the biggest media day of the world, it's probably the biggest day of the year for this entire corporation. And this entire corporation, as you will see today, is getting behind this event in a way that I don't think has ever been done before. Obviously, first and foremost, this is the greatest broadcast day of the year. The last two Super Bowls have both exceeded 111 million viewers for the game. Now it would take quite a lot of clicks on Facebook to equal that amount. The economics of the game obviously are extraordinary to CBS, and believe it or not, we are a profit-making organization. We have sold some of our spots for the game for over $4 million for a 30-second spot. Now, Joanne Ross and John Bogus and Tony Toronto have done an extraordinary job. They also wanted me to tell you that, yes, we are sold out, but obviously if one of those movie companies wants to come in at the last minute and pay us $5 or $6 million, we will find a place for you at halftime. In addition, another extraordinary figure, in the local market of New York City, on Channel 2 alone, we have now sold spots for over $1 million for a 30-second spot just for New York. It is truly extraordinary what this event has become to America. It's a national holiday. It rivals Thanksgiving and Christmas and all those other wonderful days where families get together, where people get together to enjoy. And it goes beyond sports. It goes beyond just a network. In fact, what we have here today is an extraordinary assemblage of talent.
Thank you, Leslie, and good morning. As Leslie said, CBS is coming off another incredible NFL season with enormous momentum going into the rest of the postseason and obviously into the Super Bowl also. with terrific ratings and wonderful storylines, including the return of Peyton Manning, who will be facing the Ravens this Saturday on CBS, and also Tom Brady, whose Patriots will be facing the Texans late Sunday afternoon, also on CBS. It has been a remarkable season for us so far. As Leslie also mentioned, this is an entirely new approach, both for the CBS Corporation and for CBS Sports at the Super Bowl. In all previous years, CBS Sports would begin its coverage on Super Bowl Sunday at 11 o'clock in the morning on that Sunday. This year, we'll be starting a full 6 days in advance of that at 10 a.m. on Monday morning. All of CBS's on-air talent, including our biggest stars like Jim Nance, Phil Simms, James Brown, Greg Gumbel, Jim Rome, Bill Cowher, Shannon Sharp, and all the rest, will be seen and heard across all of our platforms, including CBS, CBS Sports Network, Showtime, CBSSports.com, and the new CBS Sports Radio Network. Much of our programming will take place on the CBS Sports Network, the new 24-hour cable home of CBS Sports, which will be carrying over 50 hours of live coverage from New Orleans. I'd like to recognize David Burson, President of CBS Sports Network and Executive Vice President of CBS Sports, who will truly be one of the most busiest and the busiest guy down in New Orleans. With respect to our game production, it will follow the same highest standards that we set all year long on our NFL coverage. For the first time ever, we're employing something that we're calling the Hyper Zoom camera system, very fancy name, a high-resolution replay system that will give our replays 4 times the resolution of our regular replays. It sounds confusing, but I can tell you I've seen it, and the clarity is just absolutely amazing. We're also producing a unique second screen experience this year at the Super Bowl on CBSSports.com. Viewers will have access to 4 additional camera views and complete social media interaction. Plus, the halftime show will be streamed for the first time ever on CBSSports.com. I'd like to recognize Jason Kint, Senior Vice President and General Manager of CBSSports.com also. Jason?
Saw myself as a player, twice as an announcer. What really stuck out, my God, if I gained a lot of weight. Wow!
Way too New Orleans.
Yeah. And that was really disheartening. I'm going to go home today and I might work out.
I've been wanting to say that myself, but I'm glad you saw the tape.
I like to stand next to you. I look like I'm in shape. Let's go.
Thank you. Nice to meet you down in New Orleans. Make sure you look good. I tell you, walking into this studio brings back a lot of memories for me. You know, there's not many times you pause and really have a chance to reflect. Our lives are all racing, you know, at lightning speed. And I thought back when I came in here today. This is where my career started, and I reflected too about New Orleans. I lived there for part of my youth. I know you're gonna say one of my many hometowns, but I'm proud to say
We hear this every week.
I have as does Greg. I have New Orleans heritage. And in '78, January '78, I was a college freshman, and I can remember watching with my roommates in Houston, CBS's presentation of Dallas against Denver, and you know we wouldn't miss a minute of it. And the pregame show, which I have to go back and look, was probably like an hour long. But the pregame show began inside of a courtyard at a restaurant called the Court of Two Sisters. And there was Brent with Irv and Phyllis. And I thought, man, they're doing us proud. They're capturing the flavor of that great American city. And I always thought that's the way the Super Bowl should be done. And then I hear this undertaking, what we're going to do in Jackson Square with this entire corporation, manpower behind it. Jackson Square, really epicenter of that city. I mean, I'm really fired up about what we're going to be doing there. It's never been done like this before. I've never seen an initiative in my 28 years here quite this large. I can't wait to be part of it.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting, no doubt about it. It is a special event. We know that. I had the chance to be there one time as a player, which I'll never forget. And I didn't realize this is my 7th Super Bowl calling it. I think back, Bill Cowher, you know what it's like to stand in that tunnel before the game. It's a great moment. It's the greatest thing you can do as an athlete, I think. You stand there and you wait, and you go, wow, this is everything I thought it was going to be. And I was really loving that moment at the Rose Bowl, we were out there in 1987. And I'm standing there and I said, boy, this is great, this is great. And then next to me, one of my starting offensive linemen was crying. I went, wow, that's a little extreme. And another one of my offensive linemen was behind me throwing up.
About public speaking this morning. Never followed Jim Nance and Phil Simms. But here I am nonetheless. Welcome to the Broadcast Center, the home of the NFL Today, and of course the headquarters of CBS News and all of our CBS News broadcasts. We're going to be coming to New Orleans in a big way, as Leslie was saying. My favorite Super Bowl memory is Super Bowl 44, when New Orleans won that game, came back 5 years after Katrina, came back in the fourth quarter and won that game. There's Drew Brees right there, the photograph, him holding his son at the end of that game. What a marvelous comeback that was, because New Orleans is the greatest comeback story in America. And that's why we're going to be doing the CBS Evening News from Jackson Square on Friday and on Saturday, just telling that story, the magnificent story of this unique American city and how it came back from those terrible days when many of us working at CBS News were chest high in the floodwaters after Hurricane Katrina. Wonderful, wonderful story. And we'll be telling it in all of its aspects. One of the things that they didn't tell me when I became the anchorman of the CBS Evening News a year and a half ago was that never again, as long as I hold this job, would I ever be able to attend the Super Bowl. There's probably a very good reason they didn't tell me that. Traditionally, we do an interview with the president live from the White House leading up to the game, in the pregame show. Now, the White House always endorses these things at the last minute, so I can't tell you here this morning that it's definitely going to happen, but it is traditional, and it is something that we are planning for, and we're hoping very much to have President Obama live in the pregame show right before the ball game. I can't imagine why you wouldn't want to do that if you were President of the United States with more than 111 million viewers watching you. You know, this is also a very exciting time for us at 60 Minutes with regard to sports, because tomorrow we're going to premiere a brand new broadcast on the hottest cable channel in America.
Was that much of a handful to work with?
Well, you know what, JB, my first Super Bowl, I was 38 years old. It was in 1995 or 96. We were in Arizona. And at the time, I think it was Phil's first Super Bowl that he did. Then Dick Enberg came in. And, you know, I was a young guy and I probably couldn't trust these guys. And I told them I was thinking about opening the game with an onside kick. And they go, wow, this is awesome. And I thought, you know, thought about that after I left the production meeting. I said, you know, I think I'm going to wait and hold off on that onside kick. I did use it in the third quarter, but I did trust him at the time. And if I'd known then what I know now, I don't think I would say that. Just saying.
You know, my hat's off to Greg Dunlap and Jim Nance having to put up with Phil Simms. I didn't even know he had a personality until I started working with him on Showtime. Oh, there's no question. You know, as a matter of fact, my first time around here at CBS, they told me that there was an opportunity I might be able to work with Phil as an analyst, depending upon how you do your first football game. First game I did was the Atlanta Falcons playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And people were telling me how difficult Phil was to work with, so I made sure I missed the game up pretty bad. As a matter of fact, they would say, JB, just pay attention to the game, keep it clean, don't look at the stadium clock, look at the television clock, because that'll be the right time. So I'm in the game and get to about the third quarter, and I say, football is not that difficult, you know? But then I made a big mistake. It says Steve DeBerg is under center. He takes the snap. He drops back. Delayed hand off to James Wilder. Wilder, he's off the right guard. He's at the 40. He's at the 45. He's at the 50. He's at the 55. Finally tackled at the 65-yard line. So the producer gets him here. JB, there's no such thing as a 65-yard line. Go to commercial. Now I'm all shook up. I look at the stadium clock and I say, well, with 8 minutes and 99 seconds left, we'll be right back. Thank goodness I was right. Let me get to this real quickly. Phil, good guy, Phil. I hope you'll forgive me for that. Hey, I'm thrilled to be up here with Bill Cowher, representing very talented professionals who work both in front of and behind the camera on both the NFL Today and inside the NFL on Showtime. And we like to think that we mirror the excellence that the teams are displaying, those that are in the midst of their journey to get to the biggest stage in sports, of course, that being the Super Bowl. A real quick shout out as well, too, from borrowing from the vernacular of sports. How exciting, and maybe you can talk about the team orientation aspect, to have all of this blue chip talent across all of these CBS properties that are going to be there in New Orleans, building excitement for the game that Jim and Phil will call.
You know, JB, I felt like a blessed man. I went from an organization where I was at for 15 years to another organization that is so similar to that. We talk about the multitude of talent, the best of what they do. but this sense of family that is here. The expectations are high, the standards are high, the forward thinking is there, but yet there's this collaboration that takes place and a genuineness that takes place that being here, you enjoy coming to work. And it starts at the top, it filters down, and honestly, it's, you know, I went from a great working place.
Time, late night, daytime, and syndication. The show that follows the game is always a big one. This year, the #1 new show on television, Elementary, will be following the Super Bowl. Following local news, Craig Ferguson will have a new version from New Orleans of The Late Late Show. And this year, we've significantly expanded our entertainment presence the week before the game. Our network daytime talk show, The Talk, will broadcast a week of live shows from Jackson Square. And Kevin Frazier, co-host of our syndicated entertainment news show, recently rebranded and renamed OMG Insider, will report from New Orleans every day. So here to tell us more from The Talk, my favorite talk show host, Julie Chen, and the incomparable and beautiful Aisha Tyler.
Thank you. You know, it's funny, it was just a month ago when Aisha and I and the rest of the ladies of The Talk came into the studio getting ready for the network Super Bowl coverage. And we were visitors while the guys were doing the NFL Today. As we're standing quietly off camera, I see the 5 guys, they're laughing, they're yucking up. And I look over to the ladies and I go, this is like the male version of The Talk. and it really was. And Jacob, don't laugh too hard because that makes you the Sharon Osbourne of it. Anyhow, let's talk Super Bowl. Take me with you. The Super Bowl is not only the biggest event in sports, it is actually the biggest cultural event in the world. And it features so many different types of entertainment, from music to movie stars, and of course, the always dazzling halftime show.
And of course, the commercials, which are almost as much of a draw as the big game itself for so many viewers. And I want to tell you guys this year that I am thrilled to be joining NFL Today's Boomer Esiason in hosting the Super Bowl's greatest commercial special, which airs January 30th, which is just 4 days before the big game. Everything will be trending Super Bowl week, and women will be watching and talking in record numbers.
In fact, last year, 43 million women watched the Super Bowl. That's almost double the number of women who watched the Oscars. In the last 10 years, the number of female viewership for the Super Bowl has increased by 11 million, which is why we thought the Super Bowl would be the perfect event to take our show on the road. So, as you heard, the week leading up to Super Bowl Sunday, The Talk will be broadcasting live every day at 1 p.m. Central from historic Jackson Square. And this is historic for us, because this is the first, for everybody, this is the first time a daytime talk show has ever gone to a Super Bowl host city and done a show live every day of the week leading up to Super Bowl Sunday.
This is really, really exciting for us. All through the week, we're going to be featuring luminaries from the world of entertainment and obviously from sports. And we're also going to be bringing our viewers the unique flavor of New Orleans with local cuisine and live music every day. And this is incredibly exciting. We are announcing that we are going to be having the Grammy-winning band Train as our house band. What? It's ridiculous. Performing their biggest hits on our set Tuesday through Friday from Jackson Square. It's incredible. Yeah.
Also joining us on our set will be Kevin Frazier from OMG Insider, and he's going to be joining the ladies of The Talk to dish about what else? Celebrity news and celebrity gossip, because that's what we do at The Talk. Here with more on OMG Insider's Super Bowl week in New Orleans is my good friend, Kevin Frazier.
Julie, thanks so much. You know, I gotta say, this is kind of a holy grail moment for me to be here, because I'm originally a sports guy, and you know, I look over, I see Jim Nantz, the best there's ever been, you know. And growing up as a, you know, young African-American male, you know, Mr. Gumble, I gave him a dream, you know. James Brown. I thought, you know, one day maybe I can get there. What I didn't know is that y'all will never retire. I mean, you can't. Super Bowl 110. They'll be right there. But it is really an honor to be a part of the CBS family and what is going on because, you know, the Super Bowl is a great game, but it's also a great week. It's an exciting week, and OMG Insider, that's what we're going to do. We're going to cover the week, and yes, I get to hang with the ladies of the talk, and we're going to cover the biggest stars in the world because the biggest stars in the world want to be there. This is the week where they want to hang. They want to rub shoulders with the people, quite frankly, from CBS, and they want to come down to Jackson Square. So the good news is I don't have to go that far to find the biggest stars in the world because most of them will be in Jackson Square. We'll eat beignets, and I'll hang with Charlie and the crew from CBS this morning, early in the morning, and then we'll go into the night, and from all of the shows, we will bring you a behind-the-scenes look at what it's like to hang out at the Super Bowl and get a flavor of New Orleans. I gotta tell you, for me, it is the sweet spot of my year. It's sports and it's entertainment. I cover a little more entertainment than sports, and it's okay. But every party that's going on, everything that's trending, will be there and we will bring it to you, and that's what we will do. And keep in mind, nothing like this has ever been done. So when you see the CBS stars, and you see, where does Julie Chen like to eat after she gets off the air? Where is Aisha hanging out? What is Sharon doing at night? Well, I'll be there. From Maxim to GQ and all the parties and all the CBS stars that are at those parties, I'll be there. We'll also have exclusive content for you. You know, one of the great moments in the Super Bowl history, Whitney Houston singing the national anthem. I will sit down with her mother, Sissy, to relive that moment and talk about her daughter and her daughter's great career. And then, of course, Beyonce Knowles. I mean, or should I just say Beyonce? Am I crazy saying Beyonce Knowles? But, you know, halftime is such a big part. I know there's that game, but we also get ready for halftime, and we will be behind the scenes bringing you everything that happens. So I'm really excited because Scott Pelley, even though you won't be there, I'll be hanging with you during the week, and you'll get to show me a little flavor of New Orleans and the comedic stylings of Nance and that guy you work with. Who knew that Phil Sims was like that? We'll get to hang with those guys too. So we're very excited, and anything that's trending in New Orleans, OMG Insider will be all over it. And I can't wait to sit with the ladies from the
Coach Coward, goosebumps. Goosebumps. If there were a brick wall, I would go through it right now, or I'd go over it, or I'd go around it, or I'd do whatever guys who never played the game do. But that was awesome. That was great. You know, the fact of the matter is there are those who play the game, and then there are those who talk about the game. But I can only speak to what I know, and what I know is hosting a talk show, and I've done this for the better part of 25 years. And I'm telling you, every single year, at this time of year, this is exactly what people in my position live for. It is the best of the best. It sets up the entire year. It's the content that feeds the beast. You have to feed the beast. And there's nothing like it for Super Bowl. And when I got my start back in the late 1980s, when I got to a radio station in San Diego, there were 2 sports talk stations in the entire country. There was FAN in New York, and there was a station in San Diego that I tried to get on. And now I look around, and I see the way this thing has just exploded. You've got 4 and 5 stations in every single town, and you've got this platform. I mean, I've done this every single year, but I've never heard of anything nearly as ambitious as what CBS is undertaking. And I can say 25 years in, I'm just coming off the single best year I've ever had professionally, and it's because of CBS. I've never had the opportunities I've had. I've never had the challenges I've had. I've never been as fired up to roll out of the rack in the morning and get after it and do my job. And it's because of CBS. And when I look at the nightly show that we're doing on the CBS Sports Network, I've done a nightly TV show for the better part of my entire career since the 90s. But I feel like I've never done a show that I'm as proud of, that's as good, that's as hard-hitting, and that's as sharp. And I can't wait to get that show to New Orleans. And where we normally go 30 minutes a night, we're going to do it for a full 60 minutes. It's going to be an hour every single day. So the crew is excited to get there, and I feel like we're going to give you a really good taste of what's going on once we do. The other big thing this week is the launch of CBS Sports Radio. And without radio, and I'm looking around here, it's kind of surreal to me. I can't believe that I'm on this set with media moguls, legendary players, legendary coaches, legendary broadcasters, and you let a knucklehead like me in.
I'm John Friedman of Market Watch. Lesson, is there a number you have in mind for the ratings, brand new record perhaps? How high can it go?
We don't do predictions, but the last 3 years have been always bigger than the year before. So
Come on.
our fingers are crossed, and you know, hopefully we don't have a game like they had last night. Yes.
Karen Rosa with TV Guide magazine. Does the fact that it's in New Orleans really lend itself to doing this whole week of coverage? Would you have done it with any other city?
I'm sure we would have done it with any other city. I'm sure the fact that it's in New Orleans makes
There and so long, I think is significant. Our clients love going down there. It's a great city to entertain in, the food, obviously, and the culture. So you could not pick a better place to kick off an initiative like we're kicking off at CBS. So it's, we got very, very fortunate that all the parts of the
En los últimos años se ha interesado mucho por el fútbol americano. Como sabemos, el soccer es una pasión de los latinoamericanos, pero ahora los latinos se están interesando mucho en la NFL, el fútbol. ¿Tienen en un futuro planificado algo que realmente pueda la comunidad latina integrarse aún más a ese fútbol americano?
He wants to know that now that there's a lot of Hispanic people that are interested in the NFL, do you guys have any plans going forward to kind of incorporate the Hispanic community more into football?
Well, I will say this is the first year that we have actually used the SAP technology on every one of our NFL games this year. So if you want to listen to the games in Spanish, this is the first time you've been able to do that for every single one of our 100 games this year. In terms of specific plans, there are no specific plans. We recognize the market. We recognize how fast the market is growing, which is the reason why we undertook it. I will say quite a lot of expense, the idea of doing all the games in SAP, but we're certainly open to new ideas. There are certainly some talent we've looked at in the past for NFL pregame shows and hosts, and we'll continue to do that.